Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the BGE Hot Drop.
Hello, everyone. It is your host, Grim Reaper. I'm live from my studios down here in Death Valley, and as always, accompanied by most electrifying man in PUBG Entertainment, Shocks, and my co-host from the southern hemisphere somewhere, Kids TTV.
Southern Hemisphere.
You're in the south. It works.
False, but hey, what's up going on, everybody?
Alrighty. Welcome back to episode number trace of the BGE Hot Dropper, where we talk everything about BGE Season 3. We're going to cover week 2 from this past week. We have no league this coming weekend due to Easter holiday, so we took the weekend off. So we'll have an episode today.
For our Lord and
then we'll be
Savior.
off for 2 weeks. Ready? I'm gonna jump in and cover your standings real quick, and then we'll get in and down to the nitty gritty. Current standings: Group Alpha, Skyline Gaming still holding the top spot with 255. Winner's Circle WC in second with 153. Exile Gaming in third with 132. Excessive Gaming in fourth with 80. So Strong is in fifth with 74. Team Vicious is in sixth with 62. High Rise Esports is in seventh with 51. And Make One Bad Choice is in eighth with 38. Coming out of your Bravo group, we have the Dub Hub with 216 holding the top spot. Vig in second with 179. Denial Esports in third with 130. Brotherhood Esports is in fourth with 120. Crazy Mob is in fifth with 97. Afterthought in sixth with 89. Zero F's Given is in seventh with 65. And Killer Get Killed is in eighth with 38. Coming out of Charlie, Torch holding the top spot with 202. The Mates are in second with 159. Q3 is in third with 107. Carnage in fourth, 103. Hellfire is in fifth with 73. The Bunker's in sixth with 62. One Up is in seventh with 51. And Envy is in eighth with 33. And in your Delta group, Skyline EU in first with 210. Console Killers are in second with 181. GT is in third with 165. 20 Squad North is in fourth with 116. Offen Church is in fifth with 74. The Benchwarmers are in sixth with 73. Mischief Gaming is in seventh with 68. And Most Def is in eighth with 51. There are your scores for all 32 teams. After week 2 with 1 week of qualifications left, which is next weekend, not this weekend due to Easter break. So with that being said, let's jump into who do you guys feel is your biggest winner this week? Starting with Shocks.
My biggest winner this week has to be Carnage. Big shout out to Carnage. Now you watch. They had 3 dubs in a row on Miramar and put them back into the top 4 after having all of their points eliminated after week 1. After week 2, they're back into the top 4 of their group. So shout out Carnage. Shout out Now You Watch. My man Bo Bands.
Yeah. Kids?
I'm gonna give an honorable mention to Carnage only because we all had the discussion that they could do this, and they're clearly back into the top 4 after losing all their points.
Yes.
So I'm gonna give them a honorable mention because we expected that from them. My biggest winner is Denial Esports, who was, if I'm looking correctly, was in 6th place starting week 2 with 30 points. They're now in 3rd place in Group B with 130 points. So shout out to Sav, Rycom, Doc, whoever else is on their team. Great job week 2. Keep it up.
It sounds like a broken record here, but I'm actually gonna agree with kids on this one. Denial Esports Savage is in my DMs every week after an episode drops. Like, man, you guys dog on us. Man, you don't believe in us. And all I kept saying was, prove it. Prove us wrong. And they definitely did it on Saturday night. They pulled it was either 2 or 3 chicken dinners, and they were just popping off on Saturday, just going to town, and took themselves. As kids said, they had 30 points going into last weekend, up to 120. They just had an awesome weekend, and most of it came on Saturday night because after they were still in 6th place with 61 points after Friday night's games, and then at the end of Saturday, jumped up into 3rd with 130 points. So they picked up 70 points, 69 points on Saturday.
Honestly, I think the reason that we dog them is because we all kind of believe in that team. And so we're more like disappointed that they hadn't been performing, but they finally got some dubskis. So, yeah, shout out to them.
They definitely put their work in this past weekend and definitely proved it. So, shout out to them. Let's talk about our biggest loser from this past weekend, and let's start with kids.
I really wanted to pick 3 of them, but I'm only going to pick one. We have 3 teams that are still in the 30-point category after week 2. You got Make One Bad Choice, Kill or Get Killed, and you got Envy. All, 38, 38, 33. But my biggest loser after week 2 is going to be Envy, sitting with 33 points, dead last overall. They had 25 points after week 1 and only went up to 33 points after week 2. So you got all of 8 points.
No bueno.
I don't know what's going on there, but I'm gonna need y'all to figure it out.
Oh yeah, yeah. They were the ones in my lobby. You're 100%. They played game 1, and then they weren't able to play as a 2-man. Me and Grims got informed. We got yelled at by Tragic that we let 2 teams play as 2 men. That there was only supposed to be 3 and up. We got yelled at, and unfortunately for them, they weren't able to field a 3-man roster. I think your lobby, your teams ended up getting their 3rd or 4th or something like that, but they couldn't. So it is what it is.
Yeah, my team in my lobby picked up their 3rd game 2, and then their 4th joined game
Imagine
3.
having a 7-man roster and not being able to get 3 guys. Jesus.
That's so. I mean, case in point, I didn't know they were DQ'd because, of course, I was absent and sick on Saturday. But still, you're right. 7-man roster, and you can't pull 3 subs to help cover out. Yeah. Rough, but again, figure it out.
Yeah, I would say my biggest loser has got to be, and this is out of love. It's got to be Hellfire Esports. Why? They're still there. They're within contention. But how the hell are you going to let Carnage just blow by you like that after they had 0 points and they just didn't play to the standard that I expect that team to play for? Shout out to my boy Ultimate Italian, but they just gotta step it up, boys. It ain't working. And I just can't believe Carnage is like immediately back in front of you guys after really one day, because after day 1 of week 2 they were but after day 2 of week 2, like, they blew by them. So I mean, you guys gotta step it up.
Yeah, Carnage had 22 points, was still in last place after Friday night. And then after the second night, they got 103 points total. So they picked up 81 points that second day.
Who are they, Skyline?
Or Carnage.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
So this is going to sound a little off, but from my end, biggest loser this week, Skyline.
You ain't wrong.
On Saturday night, they had a rough showing in the graveyard. Couldn't get going, couldn't move. They picked up a total of 24 points, only had 17 kills. They just could not get themselves moving in the graveyard, and Granted, they're still sitting in the top, higher than anybody else in the league. So you can say that, well, why are they the biggest loser if they're still number one? They're still number one, but their performance definitely left a lot to be desired from them in that case, and shows that anybody can still potentially get up there and pass them, where they were asserting their dominance and showing, nope, we're number one, we're at the top, no one's going to beat us. They let some teams catch up. Granted, the gap didn't close too much, but the gap closed a little bit. So Skyline is my biggest loser. We'll see if they can turn that around next weekend, as they will be in the graveyard both Saturday or Friday and Saturday again. So we'll see if they don't like the graveyard or if it's Shock's Place favorites.
True. I give them zone. Chuma Sarah. I got y'all.
Well, we kind of touched on it. Let's talk about the Carnage comeback real quick. Shocks, you want to lead the charge here?
Yeah, I think obviously you talked about for day one that they didn't have a spectacular day, 20-something points for day
22.
one, but day two, they absolutely dominated. They had 3 dubs in a row on Miramar. I'm just thinking maybe they're just a Miramar team because they won all 3 Miramar games out of the 5 that we played on day 2 Saturday. And I mean, it wasn't even close. They had like 12 kills, 13 kills, like something crazy, like 10 plus kills every time. And they were just running through people. So we all talked about it. We all knew that it was a possibility. There was just no guarantee. But I mean, they dominated. So shout out to Carnage as they came back.
Yes. I mean, as Shocks touched on there, we knew they could do it. It was just a matter of time. I mean, they scored 78 points in week 1 and had them all erased. And we said, well, if they can do that again in week 2, they'd be right back in the 4th spot. And that's exactly what happens.
Now, did they have somebody on their roster that was recently removed? Is he a part of their roster, right, for League or no?
Yes. Currently, Carnage Smash has been removed and banned for...
Is he on their league roster or no?
He is on their league roster.
Okay.
So I don't know nothing about that situation, but I'm not going to be a dead horse. Carnage, we knew last week saying they could come back in 1 or 2 days and be back on the top 4. And that's where they're sitting pretty comfortably, too, because Hellfire only gained maybe 30 or so points from there where they were sitting last week to now. And Carnage just jumped over them like that. So, yeah, I'm not going to be a dead horse. We knew they could do it. There they are, sitting 4th place. And honestly, I could see them probably taking over 3rd place as well.
Yeah, I will talk about people think we beat up on Carnage because we had to DQ them week 1, right? We're just doing our jobs. And now this week, we just removed a player of their roster. This guy got console banned for calling somebody something racial slur or whatever that I had already known about. I told him don't do it. But when you're console banned at the BGE, you're not allowed to play in our tournaments. We didn't know he was console banned, so he was sneaking in. We found out. I asked him, hey, are you console banned? No. Are you lying? No. Okay, he's on hand cam, so it's like, hey, show me your stream. I showed his stream. Show me your Xbox. He's obviously playing on an Xbox Series S instead of the X that's sitting right next to it. And then, he doesn't realize that his mic isn't muted, so he's telling me, like, he's talking to his boys, talking about, yeah, I'm console banned, and I messed up. I showed him the Xbox Series X there, and I was like, show it to me again. And he's like, I just put it on the floor. He didn't see it, but I am console banned. And so I messaged him afterwards, after hearing him lie the whole time. I'm like, you do know your mic's not muted, right? He cut the stream like that. It was hilarious. But they're going to probably be down another man. I'm sure they have enough players to fill their roster, and they should play well anyways. But Grims, for league play, once the regular season's over, are we allowing roster adjustments going into the playoff championship weeks?
You are allowed 1 roster substitution as long as that person has not played on a different team.
There you go. Put me in, coach. Put me in, coach.
Righty. So, moving on. Since we talked about a little bit of a comeback, I'll break some breaking news and we'll touch on it very much because I don't know too much about the background of it, but a little bit of breaking news coming out of today. And this will be a little disappointment for Kids because it is one of his high hopes teams. But Q3, Dunzo. No more off the chart. See ya, wouldn't want to be ya.
So Q3
Um,
Dunzo. I think you should just go to Kids and see how his emotional breakdown's about to happen, losing his favorite team.
Got confirmation. I didn't even know it was happening. Bazaar asked me a question earlier. I answered his question, and he's like, no. He was trying to figure out, make sure he signed up. And I said, Q3 is not on any signups. He said, no, not Q3. This other team. And I said, yeah, they're signed up, but Q3 isn't. He said, yeah, no, Q3 is no longer a thing. I went,
Woo!
oh. So that was that.
Spicy.
And then I asked him, well, what are you doing for League? And he said, we don't know yet. So we'll find out with everybody else if Q3 shows up next weekend to continue on in the League, or if they don't, that's going to leave the door open for some of these other teams that are behind them to sneak in there. I mean, Q3 was sitting in third, and we were talking about Carnage. They were at 103 right behind them, so I mean, Kids even said he expected them to jump into third this coming weekend, so that'll probably be a possibility. But if that's the case, that could open the door for Hellfire to sneak in.
Hellfire's getting all the DQs, baby.
What I would find funny, though, is if Q3 doesn't show up the last week, if they'd still have enough points if, say, Hellfire or the teams under them don't equal enough to reach where Q3 is.
Word. I mean, we just bring them in, though, because if they ain't showing up. But I just want to hear what Kid's thoughts on that is.
I'm a little heartbroken, to be honest. Q3, ever since they came to see him playing dailies, man, you can ask Grim. I was talking about him all the time. But no, things happen. I don't know the back end and all the details of that, but it is what it is. You had your runs. You had a lot of good runs. Hey, whatever the reason was, hey, I hope everybody moves on, finds new teams to play on, new hobbies. If they're just gonna be done with PUBG in general, good luck to the to the team. Really, is all I gotta say to it. But I'm disappointed. Sad face.
I think here's another perspective, right? I don't know what the dynamic or whatever the heck what the team is. I don't know who got mad at who fought who, whatever. But I love Zertify. Zertify, I love that dude. He's a good freaking player. All that stuff. Dude, every team he's on falls apart. Whether it's Raise Your Aim, whether was it this team, I believe, was it Blood Money or something too? Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know the dynamic of the team. I'm not in comms and who's really causing friction. But my man, always, like, Raise Your Aim did good and, like, lasted a month. Q3 did good and lasted, like, a month.
They were around a little longer than a month, but yeah, they had
Hardly.
ups and downs. But yeah,
Spit in a pan, in and out. Ting! Like, what's going on?
So, I mean, the little bit Bazaar did tell me was one of his teammates have, for lack of a better word, bad internet. He used a different word.
Jaeger. Okay.
Another player was getting a little fed up. Didn't say who. And then the roster's so small as it was, and Vision didn't want to try out any new people. So they basically just...
Why would you not want to have new people on your roster? Like, what?
Right. I don't fully understand that, so that's that. And
maybe he thought he was going to lose his spot.
Yeah, I guess so.
So from what I got, and based on signups today, Bazaar has a little bit more breaking news. Sounds like he has joined CK and the Console Killers.
Bazaar's going
already
though,
on
too.
CK, wasn't at one point though before?
I don't know if he was part of the original CK.
If it is, there's no place like home. I know he's like rocking with WC a little bit too for a while there, but
yeah, he's bounced around a little bit. But I guess him and Exclusives have been talking back and forth a little bit, so made it work, and he is now a member of CK.
Sad face.
Beautiful.
So good pickup for CK.
You know what? Shout out CK, by the way. I know I didn't put them in for the biggest winner, but CK has been playing way better than any of us thought that they were going to play. We all thought that they could be good, but they are like legit like top 5. I think they're like 7th place right now. Like they're a legit contender here. We thought that they like if they're old talent, but if they can get it together, like, but no, they're playing well. So shout out CK.
5th overall right now. So yeah, shout out for sure, because they had just got together a couple weeks before league even started.
Yep.
And
Yes.
no one here knew how they would gel and come together. But 181 points, 5th overall. I know we ain't doing the standings like that to get in, but 5th overall,
Yes.
it's not bad.
So this kind of goes with biggest winner, biggest loser. So who do you think is sneaking in at the moment?
Right
Start
now?
with kids.
Well, TV's gone. I've said it too many times that they start off too slow. They did gain some ground, but I don't see them sneaking in. Right now, the way I see it, I didn't say Crazy Mob was the biggest loser. They might have had an off week. Right now, if the qualifiers were to end today, Crazy Mob would be on the outside looking in. They would be the 17th team overall on the scoreboard. And I think if it came down to a tournament, I think Crazy Mob would wipe the rest of these 12 or so teams that they would have to play to get that 17th spot. So the outside looking in and who can make it, hey, Crazy Mob, let's get it.
Shocks.
Yeah, I was gonna say Crazy Mob as well. My pick previously was Mischief, but Mischief, like, man, disappointing week. They kind of fell off a lot for me. So I'm gonna have to go Crazy Mob. Give me my boy Problemas and all the gunners out there for the Crazy Mob. Let's go, boys. I've always thought of them as a team that's going to be competing for championships. So to me, it's weird to put them as like my sneak-in team, but they haven't been playing well, and they're finally like right around that 17th spot. So I got to go Crazy Mob. They're gonna make it.
For me, I'm gonna go with So Strong. They've been performing well this past weekend, getting themselves up there in a group with Skyline and WC. So I mean, between those two teams, I mean, kills in that are very hard to come by, we'll say. And I mean, they're sitting in 5th place, but they're only 6 points behind that 4th place position, which is Excessive Gaming. And Excessive Gaming, not knocking you guys, but you're kind of a little bit of a roller coaster. So that door is very wide open for them to sneak in there. So we'll see how
Excessive
this
Gaming,
final week comes.
usually they're like a good placement team, but last week it seemed like they were playing like way more aggressive than they needed to play, and it cost them.
So who's your biggest fallout?
I think my biggest fallout, or I would say somewhat disappointment or whatever, has been Off in Church. That's like your Torch second squad. That's a squad that I thought was going to possibly make it out of their group, and they're sitting in like 20th place right now. So I think a little bit of a disappointment, especially considering the Torch squad is doing so well. It's just such a big drop off. You have one team that's going to be making it, and the other team not. You would think there'd be some type of middle ground, but so my biggest disappointment right now, it's got to be Off in Church.
Yeah, I'm a ballpark this one. I'm gonna go with Hellfire Esports. All you had to do was just get more than 20ish or 30ish points to and hang on to 4th place, with Carnage having 0. And Carnage drops 103 points after having 0 because they got DQ'd, and you just fall to the outside looking in team. So our biggest fallout's gotta be them. Like they control their own destiny, and I think they'll make it, but only because Q3 will not come back. If Q3 was staying in and Carnage was gonna stay there, Carnage would pass Q3. And honestly, if the way they keep playing, they could possibly pass the mates as well, depending on how the mates played that last week, and they'd still be on the outside looking in. So Hellfire is my biggest fallout right now.
I am actually just gonna side with Stocks on this one. Offen Church, I expected them to be top 4. I'm not knocking my current team, which is sitting in the 4th place with 20 Squad North, but I expected them to be in 5th and Offen Church to at least be in the top 4 category, just based on how Torch and then perform and how that team usually does in general. So for them to be where they're sitting is definitely a big surprise for me. We'll see. And a runner-up for me on that would also be Crazy Mob in the Bravo division. Same boat. Expected them to be a little higher, but maybe these teams can turn it around this final week and see what happens over there. Alrighty. We have. Alright. After week 2, who do you guys have as your current MVPs? Start with Kids.
I'm going to stick with what I said last week, Baby Joey. I'm not changing nothing that I see currently with who I think the MVP possibly could be at the end of the season.
I'm 100% agreeing with Kids in the sense that I'm sticking with Zality. Give me some Zal. Give me some Skyline. Zality's going to be the one at the end of the whole thing. Zal MVP. You already know what it is, guys. V. How do I make a P? P.
Did it backwards, but all right.
Yeah, in general, I think I just gotta go with Skyline in general. The whole team is just an MVP.
Oh, what a cop-out, right? What a Grimsby copping out all the time.
I don't want to play favorites, so we'll just go with Skyline.
Pick a person.
I'm 100% playing a favorite right now.
The whole team is just well-rounded. Granted, like I said, they had a bad week this week, but looking at the roster, they didn't have their normal people playing either. So I think that played a factor into how they performed.
Yeah, but to come out on top with 255 points, still 39 points ahead of the second place team. The roster's just stacked in general.
And since you're talking about Skyline, and you were the one that had like Avenger last week or something, when he was Skyline EU, how about the return of Walshy last week during League, huh? Man
then
retired for like a day and a half
anymore, and then I can't leave my team man down.
Yeah, they were 3-man in it. He came in my stream and he's like, I'm gonna be in there. I'm downloading it because I was telling him like, man, why are you letting your team be in here 3-man in it? Like, what's going on, bro? And he's like, I'm downloading it right now. I'll be in there next round. It took him like actually another round. He got in there like game 3, and he got in game 3. He died first game 3 and 4, and they played well too, but without him. So I mean,
at least he came and supported the team.
That's what he did, man. Bullet sponge, because he had to get 1 kill one time, one of those 2 games or something. So, right. Shout out Walshy.
Currently, your MVP is Zalade at a 95 rating.
I know. Eye test.
Is in second with 89.
Boatman.
Woo. Joey is in third, 89 also. I don't know, so you can call him tied, I guess.
Yeah.
And then Havoc is in fourth with 85.
Dubhub playing well.
MVPs. So Dubhub and Skyline NA are your 2 teams that have everybody in the top 4. And if you go to the 5th spot, the 5th spot is Hobie. So
Dubhub is like the Peyton Manning of the BGE. Like, they just put up incredible regular season numbers and then just not do so well in the championship, you know?
Right. Right. So, but yeah, your top 3 of 5 is actually Skyline. Hobie, Joey, and Zalade. So there you have it.
There you go.
Something I did want to touch base on. It's not on our sheet, but I'll throw this out there. This current format we have where the top 4 teams from each division move on, not the top 16. Do you guys like it? Not like it? Based on current standings, our lowest seeded 4th place team has 80 points, which puts them in 18th place overall. So there are 2 teams above them currently that would not make the finals because they're in 5th place, respectively, in their divisions. 5th or in 6th place, actually, because those 2 teams come out of the same block. What's your thoughts on that? Start with Shocks.
Start with kids. All you, bud.
Start with kids. Okay.
All right, so I like it personally. I enjoy sports. So when this came out and I saw the top 4, each bracket or division, it's sort of like, to me, like anything to do with like MLB or NFL or anything like that. Like the top 4 are always going. It's going to be their conferences and divisions. You win those out, even though the second team behind you has like one less win than you do, you're still gonna, the team in front of you is gonna get in, and you might be on the outside looking in. You might have to play an additional playoff game to get in as well. So I just look at it as sports. Win your division, and if you're on the outside looking in, well, you're playing a wild card game essentially. Like that last chance Sunday bracket is essentially a wild card game, and the winner goes and plays in the playoffs. That's how I look at it. I enjoy it. Yes, I see that XSE, is, with 80 points, and I know who you talk about, Crazy and Afterthought, all sitting there like, man, we have more points. We're on the outside looking in. Well, that's how it is in sports. You might have a winning record, but there's 4 teams in front of you that have better winning records, and so be it. So I like it. So that's my opinion on it.
Fox?
So I get both sides of it. I get that, you're going to be getting beat up by the same people in your division, so winning your division can be more beneficial. But I think it's a whack. I think it's whack. I think if you're in the top goddamn 16, you should move on. I don't care about you having to play Skyline every week. I don't care. Be in the top 16. Do what you got to do, but it is what it is. These are the rules, and we're going to roll with them. And I get the divisions and win your division, so it makes sense. So I still think it's dumb, but I get it.
In the back, I'm not crashing either way either. It is what it is. I like both, but yeah. I like seeing something different. I know the last 2 seasons we've done the top 16. It was just nice to see something different, I guess I should say.
Yeah,
not necessarily I like this, but it's something different.
You're right, because like a team that's playing against Skyline every week, where Skyline's winning 3 out of 5 games, like you're missing out on an opportunity of 10 placement points just because that team is just absolutely dominating every day. So those teams that are in Group Alpha or whatever are going to get less opportunity for points because they have the best team in their division. And some of these other teams could have a different winner every game, so different teams have more opportunities. So I get the divisions being, that much more important.
So I'm the same way. I see both sides of the equation, and I'm pro both of them. Like, I do like the top 16 for the same reason. I perform better than those other teams while I'm on the outside looking in. I get it. I understand it. You should be in there. On the same side, the opposite flip is I got to play this top team every single day. I have no chance to get away from them. We can't get going because we always run into them every week and they kill us. Get good? But I understand that also. So maybe a slight adjustment to next season. If we choose to keep this type of format, maybe take like the top 2 or 3 from each division, and then fill in the rest with the remaining teams in order of how they rank.
That's interesting. Yeah, this is definitely. I would say that this is the first season that we haven't had like anybody complain about the groupings. Really, usually everybody's crying. Oh, I got GT and this guy. This is the first season where like everybody's like nobody really cared. Everybody was okay with it. So we must have did something.
A couple
right.
up front. I mean, not necessarily that all that team's in my group, but more of all that teams or that group seems easiest, or that's the hard group.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty well rounded, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was digging on all Bravo's easiest group or that, and I mean, Bravo's a very tight group. I mean, the top 6 in that group are actually in the top 16, which is unfortunate because 2 of them aren't gonna make it. All the other groups have a pretty distant gap between them. Exiled's in 3rd in Alpha with 132, and then Excessive Gaming's in 4th with 80. And then 5th is 74, and 6th is 62. So there's a huge gap between 3rd and 4th in that one. In Charlie, you've got 103 and to 73, so you got about a 30-point gap between 4th and 5th there. And then in the Delta group, 116 to 74. So you got about a 42-point gap in that one. So whereas in Bravo, 120 is 4th and 5th is 97. So you got a 30, not even 23-point gap there. So one game and that division can flip around real quick. So I don't know. Something to consider. I mean, I kind of like both sides of it, but maybe a mesh of the two next time might be the way to go. Final closing remarks. Who do you think is still in line to win it all? Starting with kids.
I already knew that was coming. I already knew.
Skyline all day, every day. Someone's got to prove me wrong before I take that off as my gonna be the overall winner.
I
That's all I'm
think
gonna say on that.
I think the regular season winner, honestly, give me some Dub Hub, man. They've been playing consistent. I'm backing off of the VIG because they're so far down in the regular season. They still could win it all, but I'm gonna have to see some performances this next week. But give me some Dub Hub. I think Dub Hub could come back and be the regular season winner by the end of this week here.
I am going to go across the pond a little bit. Jump with Skyline EU. If Walshy sticks and they can get their act together, I feel like they could end up in the top there. And they're 40 points out of first place right now. So potentially they could take that top spot this week also. Or next week, sorry, because there's no league this week. So we'll see. We'll see. But one of the Skylines will be on the top. That's going to be my prediction. All right. And that's it for us. Gonna wrap it up. You guys have a good Easter. And catch you guys in 2 weeks.
On the next episode of the Hot Drop.